Welcome back to Lenz, Comic Corner, classics / non-classics. This is episode number 1111 and Doubleshot number 1005. I got two trades from the Justice League Ameirca Volume 2, the collected issues from that particular volume. We have Team History and Dark Times. Dark Things. First off, let's start. Now, these two trades are the first two trades to collect James Roberts' run for the book, which is only 23 issues. There's actually two more that I haven't got yet. For some reason, Amazon doesn't have the last trade of this run, which is Rise of Eclipso. They have in digital form, no physical copy for some reason. I have no idea why. First, let's start with Team History. Now, this covers issues 38 to 43 of Justice League Ameirca Volume 2. Now, 38 kind of basically is a prelude to the two-parter for issues 39 and 40, which is a tie-in to Blackest Night. Aside from this, what have I reviewed from Blackest Night? The main event, the one-shot revivals, except for like one issue of Adventure Comics. Green Lantern Corps, there's also Batman and Robin. Yeah, they have a few issues tied to Blackest Night. Let's see, was there anything else? Oh yeah, I also covered The Outsider. So yeah, this is roughly the sixth book I've covered basically as a tie-in to Blackest Night. Now, this comes right after the events of the controversial miniseries Cry for Justice. Yep, where we have members of the Detroit era of the Justice League show up in this book. Well, for the first few issues, we have Vixen, Plastic Man, who's actually falling apart, Dr. Light, the second one. I'm trying to think who else was. It was those two. They try and figure what happened to Firestorm and John. We also have Santana pops up in here. Yeah, apparently, and here's the thing, they're actually not at the Watchtower. Nope, they're not in the satellite. They're actually in the original headquarters of the Justice League, Secret Sanctuary, aka in what they call in Young Justice TV show, Mount Justice. Yeah, why they're there? Because that was the last time they actually, because they got no place to be. And they apparently can't get contact with Firestorm. Okay, so I have a question though. Okay, like, is there any other Green Lantern contact besides John Stewart? Like, you can contact Kyle Rayner, you can contact Guy Gardner, heck, you can contact John Stewart. Nope, can't contact any of them. And for some reason, we can't contact Superman. Because we can't. And then we have them basically face off against four people who had previously died. We had the return of the original Dr. Light, Arthur Light, who has an encounter with the female Dr. Light, and he proceeds to nearly rape her. Because Brett Millitzer retconned that he was a rapist. Why? I have no idea why. Also, we have it where, like, saying that she is a failure as a Japanese woman, a mother, and a hero. Yep. We all see Blackest Night. We see a Black Lantern version of John Zadara, the father of the smoking hot Zatanna, along with Vibe and Citizen and Commander Steel, the grandson of the original one. And yes, if you look at basically from the original Detroit era, like, you have most of the Detroit era basically Justice League in here, except for two people. For some reason, I'm not really sure why this is. I couldn't have the Black Lanterns pop up in here because this is supposed to be a love letter to Detroit era Justice League. Like, okay, we have Plastic Man, we have Vixen, we have Red Tornado appears in here. Like, okay. We have Santana, who actually was not technically part of that era, but why not? But we don't have Aquaman and Martian Man pop up in here. I'm thinking, that's strange. Why can't we have those show up in here? Because those two actually founded the Detroit area. Yeah, we have Vi pop up in here, who basically plays in the fact he was depicted as a joke, which, if you read the original, if anybody's ever read the Detroit era Justice League, Vi was treated, like, the way the fans treated him was pretty much like a joke. Luckily enough that Jeff Johns brought him back, and made him a lot more serious of a character instead of a guy basically who can do breakdancing. Commander Steel, I thought that was interesting. Now, most of the characters pop up in here are Jerry Conway characters. Vixen is a Jerry Conway character. They mentioned Firestorm, who was another one. Along, the only one who isn't pops up in here is actually two of them: Zatanna, Dr. Light, John Zadara, and Red Tornado. These four are not created by Jerry Conway, but everyone else. Oh, and Plastic Man. Yeah, Plastic Man is not a creation of basically Jerry Conway, and it's a great little tie-in. I love. I think it's fantastic. And then we have a brand new lineup starting with issue 41, and this lasts for the last 20 issues of this run. Yep, and the lineup is this. First we have Wonder Woman show. Hey, Donna, you want to join Justice League? Sure. And then Donna recruits her first recruit, and it's the Dick Grayson Batman. Because why not? Because it can't be Just League without Batman. Okay, then they go recruit Mon-El because he is Superman. And of course, the thing is, they mention, okay, you want to be like Superman? How about joining Justice League? And he's probably like, sure. We also see, like, Black Canary as part of this lineup briefly. And, like, they recommend that Green Arrow join the team along with Hal Jordan. Hal Jordan is briefly part of this roster, and he goes off of the space to deal with the Brightest Day stuff. Yep. Red Tornado just ahead. Yeah, his body gets destroyed during the Blackest Night tie-in. Yep. And Dr. Light joins the team because she's asked to, and she's like, sure. And Damian basically, when Dick is offered to join the team, he's like, can I join too? And Dick's probably like, no, I have a better team for you to join. And you know what team he joins? He joins the Teen Titans, a group he's part of very briefly. He's part of the book for like a year before he quits because they have Tim Drake come back to the team. Yep, and the whole thing about this book, it explores the backstory of the Justice League, which I thought was fantastic. The artwork in here is done by the ever-awesome Mark Bagley. I love this man's artwork because it is so freaking good. Here is Mark Bagley drawing Plastic Man, Dr. Light, Vixen, and Red Tornado. It looks so freaking good. Also, in the case of Green Arrow, his appearance here takes place just prior to the epilogue of Cry for Justice before he kills Prometheus. Though some of the stuff does set up the Fall of Green Arrow miniseries, this book I think is actually really good. Great thing to read. And next book is a crossover with the JSA. This book I give a 9.5 out of 10. I love the lineup in here. It's so utterly fantastic. And there was actually a joke. Also, they have Starfire join the team. Like, okay, it's like mostly the Marvel Hope and George Perez team. Like they have Dick Grayson, Donna Troy, Starfire, Cyborg joins the roster, which that was a good choice. Along with Mon-El. They even have the Adam Roy Cheeto join the team briefly before he gets killed off. And yeah, it's a really good lineup. We also see the joining of two characters who popped up previously in the Cry for Justice miniseries, Congo Bill and Starman. Fantastic. I love the fact they use these characters. Yep. Now, in the case of the two characters, now, the Starman character, the alien, yeah, James Robinson's got history with this character because he actually brought this character back in his Starman series. As for the other characters, Batman, he actually does have a history with because he's written some Batman comics. Dick Grayson, I don't think he has much history with him, but he does experience with bearing Batman. Mon-El, well, the only reason why I think he threw him in because he was writing Action Comics at that point. Yep. Donna Troy, I'm not really sure why he threw her in for. Yeah, I'm not really sure why he had no experience right here. I think in the case of Cyborg, I think he liked the character. I don't think he had experience writing the character. The female Dr. Light, like the first characters, I think was just basically just dealing with leftovers from Cry for Justice. So basically, the characters he starts off with. We also see the return of Despero. Yes, he pops up in here, and it's one of the few times that Marge Miranda does not show up in here. We see, and here's kind of the strange thing. Yeah. I was reading this like for the Blackest Night issues. Okay, we have a tribute to the George Roy era Justice League, but we don't have Aquaman or Marshman, despite the fact they were resurrected as part of Blackest Night. Yeah. And as for the rest of the characters, well, Congo Bill, well, he had just previously wrote him in the Cry for Justice series. My guess is he probably wanted him out of the team, and he's part of the roster up until the very end of this particular run. Yep. And of course, don't worry, more characters join. Next up, we have Dark Things, which is a return of Jade. Yep, the daughter of Alan Scott, the original Green Lantern, and the twin sister of Obsidian, who's also a child of Alan Sky. Now here's the thing: Jade had previously been killed off in the events of Infinite Crisis. This is a crossover with JSA. Makes perfect sense. Yep, this book contains, from the second volume, Just Like Ameirca, issues 44 to 48, and issues 41 to 42 of Justice League of Just Like Ameirca. Now the issues, even the JSA issues, are written by James Robinson. Yeah, it's actually returned to writing the series for the first time since the book was revived back in 1999. We have Mark Bagley in the artwork once again. The cover art is done by Mark Bagley, Rob Hunter, and Nathan Ebering. The cover art for this one is done by, I think, Bagley as well. It's Bagley, Hunter, and Pete pronounced as a colorist. Yep. Now this book is a cross between the Just Like Ameirca and the JSA. Yep. Which is the second one they did, and here's kind of the strange. I'm not really sure why this is. Now, these issues came after Bill Willingham wrapped up his brief run he had for the JSA. Yeah, he had a brief run. Batsy, I'm getting the book in soon. Yeah, and for some reason, for the last 14 issues of the run, 3 issues are not collecting the regular trade. Like, first 2 are collected here because it's a crossover with the JSA. And we also see Supergirl join the roster during this storyline, and of course, Alan Scott becomes Sentinel in the storyline, which he has his look up until the reboot happened in 2011. We also see in the book. We see from the Seven Soldiers series, we have the third Mr. Miracle, Shin Nohiro, I think his name is. He was the guy who popped up in the miniseries for Seven Soldiers. Great miniseries, highly recommend it. We'll also return to Power Girl, and at the end of the storyline, we also have Jesse Quick join the roster against Anita Speedster. And I'm thinking, wait, okay, I get why Batman and Superman are not available, and Wonder Woman, why she's not available. My guess is, and this is my personal theory, why she wasn't available for this particular run, was because of what was going on in her book at the time, the whole thing with the reboot. In the case of Flash, I get the fact he just came back, but couldn't you have him actually join the Justice League? Yeah, there's no explanation of why he couldn't join Justice League. So they recruit Jesse Quick, a character who was a supporting character in the Wally West run, okay? And the thing is, she's actually part of both books prior to the reboot. Yep, and I love the fact they work together, and I gotta say this crossover is actually handled a lot better than the Lightning Saga, and that was done by Jeff Johns and Brad Militzer. To handle that crossover. This one's all done by James Robinson, who has experience writing most of his characters, and I think the story is actually pretty good, and it's a Brightest Day tie-in. Yep. Now, from what I look up on here, the Brightest Day tie-in, aside from this, I think I covered one other book on here. I don't think I covered any other books related to Brightest Day aside from this. Let me look up on here. Let's see, aside from this, let's see. I have also covered... Nope, just this one. This is the first one I've covered from Brightest Day. Yeah, Brightest Day is actually a pretty good event. I actually like the miniseries. Yeah, it's a 24-issue, twice monthly series. Yeah, aside from this, now I have read The Birds of Prey Volume 2. I've never actually reviewed it. Yeah, I've never reviewed it, but yeah, this is the first one I reviewed from Brightest Day. Yep. And there's a lot of World Crisis. We also see a debut of the Rocket Elite, which is the German equivalent of the Red Rockets. And they want to arrest Jade for bringing a meteorite to their country. And she's like, I didn't bring it. It brought me. And, of course, the JSA helped because, well, she was part of the JSA. And it's implied she just joined Justice League after this. And also, the Obsidian does this weird thing where he wants to join with. So I'm like, what? Why the heck would he do that for? And then, like, at the conclusion of the storyline, they couldn't join together ever again. They can't even go near each other. Yep. But we actually have another story comes out, this Omega then Rise episode, and that's it for Justice League. I gotta hand it to this. This is actually a really good story. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I know Linkara said this was boring. I thoroughly enjoyed this. This was a great little mini event. And have a crossover between the JSA and the Justice League Ameirca at this point prior to the reboot, purely fantastic. And there's also a step between the character Lightning and I think it's one air character, a possible romance between the two. Yeah, and when Jay comes back, reunites with her stepmother, which that goes really well. Her father, well, of course, at one point we also have Starman briefly get his gem taken, but it's brought back to him, no problem. We also see briefly Miss Martian. Yeah, she pops up in the storyline. Why she's here, of course, they reveal she's a white Martian, because, of course, I already knew that. It was not really shocking because I already knew that. I think it's Mr. Ameirca. Yeah, there's the tease of a romance between the two of them. And I could possibly see it. There's nothing really wrong with it. And, well, it doesn't go into place because of what happened. This book, I think, is actually really good. I thoroughly enjoyed reading it. I actually got this book from a comic shop up in South Carolina called Soundwave Comics. And pretty good store. And I get this book for cover price. Now, if this was Amazon, I'd probably pay a lot more than this. But, yeah, these two books cost $17.99. And I thought this was something really strange with this book. Despite the fact these issues, Dark Things, is a Brightest Day tie-in, doesn't have the banner on top of the trade. I'm not sure why, despite the fact the original issues had that. I've seen the covers for these issues. They have that on the covers of the books. But for some reason, they're not listed part of that. I'm not really sure why. But, yeah, 9.5 out of 10, really good. And, yeah, I can't wait to get my hands on the last two trades for this run because I thoroughly enjoyed this run. And I was pointing out to the guy who owns the store, even he agrees. This is just done by sheer coincidence. One of two times this has happened. We have a book done by James Robinson, and then who succeeds him? Jeff Johns. Versus happened with the JSA, where James Robinson did the first 5 issues and handed off to Jeff Johns with a long run for that book. And then this book kind of the same thing, where this one was actually a slightly longer run in this book than Jeff Johns than James Robinson on JSA. This was roughly 23 issues, while in the case of Jeff Johns, it was 50 issues, which was a relaunch of this book. Now, there was 3 other volumes, just like Ameirca, that came after this. We had the one that Jeff Johns started in, I believe it was like 2013, I think it started. It started right after the events of the Throne of Atlantis storyline, which was a very short-lived series, and it was rushed to conclusion for that one. We also had the Brian Hitch run, which is very forgettable for a lot of people. It was okay. And then we had the awesome Steve Orlando run that actually ended a couple years ago. I thought that was a great book. In my opinion, it was a mistake to end that book. It had plenty of potential to last a lot longer, but it didn't. But, yeah. These two books are great. I do recommend them for people fans of James Robinson. And especially fans of the JSA book. One that Jeff Johns and James Robinson did. These two books are utterly fantastic. And I thought it was interesting, though, that James Robinson, for his first 3 issues, did a love letter to the Jerry Conway issues of Justice League Ameirca from the 80s. The Detroit. I thought the love letter was fantastic for the Blackest Night tie-in. And everything else that came after that, really good. Definitely looking forward to reviewing the last couple trades to collect this run. My next Comic Corner will cover 2 Zenescope trades. Yep. So yeah, that's it for this particular view. My next view will cover the next 2 chapters for Black Clover, which I keep checking. Nope, no new episode yet. I haven't heard anything the series come back yet. I have heard One Piece is come back soon, which is awesome. Now, I will discuss my thoughts on these 2 chapters next. Okay, see you next video. Bye.